This is the Plum Wild recap, episode 6. I'm Nathan Waddell. Start things off. I'm Nathan Waddell, driver of the number 5 Apex Industries machine in the iRacing World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Pro Late Model Series. I'm joined today by Damian Kiefer, as always, driver of the number 021, whatever you see out there, Apex machine in the iRacing World of Outlaws Pro Late Model Butt Kicker Series. And then today we have a special guest joining us, the number 39 machine, not a Pro Series driver, but a damn good one, longtime friend and teammate, and that is Colin Bokus. Colin, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Blast to finally make it on here. You know, obviously the work schedule is doesn't intertwine with when we have the podcast going on. So I'm always watching from work, so it's kind of cool to be able to get on one of these and then talk to the guys.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you finally got to join us. You've been super instrumental throughout really my career on iRacing, if you want to call it a career, but throughout my career on iRacing, and you especially stepped up here recently to kind of help me and Kiefer get back on track, and it's certainly shown, at least in my ability to make a feature. And then Kiefer Monday night had a good run himself. Kiefer, how did that? How did you do? How would you say you did? Are you okay?
Right. I'm fine. I'm chilling. I'm just enjoying the vibes. You know.
Yeah.
It's podcast day. We're here. We have 2 guests today, so it's gonna be a busy day. But race wise, P3, not too terrible.
Not too bad at all. You qualified though on the pole. That's two poles for between the two of us.
2 out of 6.
2 out of 6. I didn't think of it like that. That's 33%, baby. I mean,
repeating.
You did better with it than I did. You did throw it away a little bit, but not as bad as I did.
I did, yeah. Choke. Start off heat 1 there. Led about 5 laps, going to 1 and 2. Oh, trying to drive the balls off the thing and stuffed it in the fence. Caught up with myself. I'm glad I recovered as fast as I did because I thought it could have been much worse than it was. But we recovered. We got back and put us in a decent spot to start 5th in the feature.
For sure. I mean, you know, that's the cost of losing a position or gaining a position in any of the heat races. With 4 heat races, you're essentially moving up or down 4 spots. So, but 5th starting spot is still really, really good. I, on the other hand, didn't qualify as well. I mean, we had done a lot of practicing. Colin was in there with us during, you know, all of our practice laps throughout the week, and I was feeling pretty good in certain lines. I knew I could hit the marbles in 1 and 2, which is what it ended up being. You know, we were having concerns, or obviously we're concerned about what the line is for qualifying, but we weren't ever sure exactly where it would go. And then as we got towards the end of the practice for the actual Pro Series, we were pretty certain it was going to be a certain line that was top 1 and 2 and bottom 3 and 4. And I knew I could hit it in 1 and 2. I wasn't really sure about 3 and 4, how well I could hit that. And obviously it wasn't the set because you went out there and qualified quick time. I think I qualified somewhere around the tune of like 21st or something like that, 26th.
It was probably the best 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 that I could have hit.
Yeah.
It was,
obviously.
It was
the 1 and 2. I hit it so like I didn't even turn the steering wheel. It just went. It railed right, and I went crumbs 1 and 2, and then I almost clipped the inside wall on my last lap, and I kept it down there, and we had lots of dig on exit there on the bottom in that mud, and she was pretty good.
I couldn't hit it. I mean, I had practiced it a little bit, but I'd known in practice that like
it was
either way, either way, if it was bottom in either corner, I just wasn't really comfortable down there, and you know, like Colin said, that comes with laps.
It was weird too because he rode the left rear on the crease, so like his nose was real far up. So basically the front half of his car was up over that crease, and the back half was below it, and like it looked really goofy. Like watching, I'm like, because you obviously the perception is a lot goofier when you're watching from the server, and it looks like he's just completely cocked, and like I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, like, we're about to spun out halfway through the corner.
So I see a 7-2-1. Obviously, I'm not looking at anything, and then I go to look at the board, and I'm like, all right, we're halfway through, and like he ain't done nothing. Then Evan goes 787. I'm like, all right, well, it's gonna take a heroic effort to knock him off the top. So, Goofy, he called it though. He called it like what, two minutes into that, like halfway through that practice. Kind of knew what it was gonna be, and he went out ripped. So yeah,
I tried in practice.
2 minutes in, yeah, with me and Nathan arguing about what line is. I done told him 16 times. I said it's gonna be Chromes 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4, like against the wall with like below the crease. And this dude's, it's 4:55 in practice, and we have 5 seconds left before it ends. And he's like, "What's the line?" I'm like, "Same line that it was."
I was just really hoping that it wasn't gonna be that line because I knew I wasn't as good on that line. I could really rail the Crumbs, but
that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, 3 and 4 was tough, and no, that wasn't bad. Heat race wasn't bad. I felt you had a decent heat race until you didn't.
chaos.
We recovered though. We recovered.
Yeah, I mean everyone saw it, and I got a bunch of messages about it, about the move and the move.
That's Plum. That was a Plum Wild moment of the week, guys. But Nathan's computer.
Yeah, my computer would melt if I tried it. But yeah, I mean, I was in 5th. I don't even really remember how I got to 5th, but I remember riding behind Brett Caudill for a couple of laps, and I was really running the top really well, and he was running the bottom just ahead of me, and really middle just ahead of me. And Colin's in my ear telling me, make your move, but make it smart. And what did you say before? You said your dad told you some quote.
He always told me when I was in the car, said make the move before you get there. So like I always, especially with how Kiefer's been the last couple weeks with his impatient quality or whatever you want to call it. Tendency. Yeah, that's the word. So, I kind of tried to instill that in you guys because obviously like there's always like a pro and a con to that, right? So you can go make a move, like you can go throw a bomb, but if you don't have the room to throw that bomb comfortably and you smack the wall, if we're instead of like starting on the pole on a B main and you could have finished 5th, that could knock you all the way back to 7th, 8th, or out of the race. So like it's smarter maneuvers. Like you have to be aggressive, but you have to be smart in how you're aggressive. And that's why like when I told, and it was kind of crappy because I was like, all right, next lap, because you had the run in 1 and 2. I said, next lap, if we get this run, you're gonna bomb them because you had the room then, and we were better. So it was time to do it. And then he ended up coming down. I was like, and like, damn.
That was,
and then that's obviously when you had the little bit of, but I mean, like you had already committed, like you were committed to that, and he kind of committed later than you did.
My thing was he had been running higher up, and my plan was I'm either gonna slide him or I'm gonna run bottom, right? Like if I feel like I can't clear it, or if I feel like whatever, if something's not right with it, I'll just run bottom. Otherwise, I'm gonna slide him because I really felt like I was a lot faster than him, and that was for the transfer spot too. That was for 4th, and we go in there, and I'm like, oh shit, this is not gonna be good. And we got together pretty hard there in 1 and 2, and then coming down the back stretch, we made a little bit more contact, and he was on my right side as I was trying to enter 3, and I just could not get the car to rotate. Went up the track, we ended up, I think we all wrecked coming to the line. Somehow I ended up 6th. I thought I had lost like 3 or 4 spots. Somehow finished 6th, put us starting 3rd in it was LCQ2, and we got a good chance to look and see what the line was for that, because they reset the track for the LCQs, and we were initially thinking it was going to be bottom for that first LCQ, and all of a sudden Blake and whoever it was running 2nd move up to the top, and they're rolling. So I was like, well, that makes me feel a little bit better because I know I can hit the top pretty well. So LCQ2, we get a good start, I feel like, behind Jesse Wall, and I think it was Tristan Lattiser on the outside front row, and then Logan Herbert, I think, to my outside. we go into 1 and 2. We're rolling still in third on the inside, just kind of stuck. And then the next time we go into 1 and 2 on lap 2, I saw a gap and I was like, I'm sending it. I'm sliding up, and I slid up, and I think they all just kind of died behind me after a couple of laps, and so I was able to just kind of cruise to.
Well, you missed lap 1 out of 2 because that's when you guys got your Jesse or Tristan guys tangled together or something like that, and it was Elkins, the 87. They all got like together, and you're like, I'm stuck. Because I'm like,
yeah.
go low.
Oh yeah. This fucking guy's screaming at me to go low, and I'm like, I can't even control the car. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just freaking. I'm here for the ride, dude.
I'm screaming. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Get it together.
That's what I hear.
I'm like, why are you hitting this guy?
I'm fucking not trying to. But we made it work, and we made it through. We made it through to the feature. You started 5th, Kiefer. I started in the back. I'll quickly recap what happened in mine. I went into 1 and 2 about 25 laps in. I was just riding around in the back. Everybody was still kind of single file at that point. I was trying to save, kind of not really much room to do anything anyways. And we went into 1 and 2 a little too high, clipped the wall on entry, and it made it to where I couldn't turn the car. Killed the wall, killed the right front, and I just got the hell out of there. So I think I ended up finishing 19th, but I made the feature. That's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, that's not exactly what I want, but considering how the first 4 weeks went, I'll take it, and hopefully keep improving and doing better from here on out. But you, Kiefer, you started 5th and finished 3rd. I mean, how did all that go for you? Because I know once I got back in there, you were under caution, and I was just hyped and hoping that you could, contend for a win or hold on to a podium.
Yeah, feature-wise, first few laps there, we got under Des. Got to 4th I think relatively soon, like lap 2 or 3. And then after that, we just rode for 25 pretty much. Kept our distance between Kendal and Evan behind me. We were right in there for a while. And then me and Evan were getting closer, and he was catching me a little bit, but I was still maintaining the same distance from Kendal and Honeycutt and those guys. And once lap 25 hit, I had told Bokus, and I said, it's time to rip. And I went to the cush, and I started ripping as hard as I could. And we caught up to Chase. No, what is it? Honeycutt and Kendal.
Yeah.
Honeycutt and Kendal. Yeah. Caught up to
Chase
them.
was up there too, though, right? You were in 4th at that point, so Chase was leading, right?
Yeah. So caught up to those guys, and me and Evan both caught him. I kept my distance from Evan. I think I had like not a second on him, but 3/4 of a second, whatever it was. So I had a chance to gain some spots, and then we had that yellow come out. So put us in 4th, which wasn't terrible because we were running the top, and then had the restart. Got to 3rd, was right in there, really hard, felt really, really good. Chase was right in front of us, and Chase hit the wall a few times in 1 and 2, got a little tight, and then I bumped him one time because he was we were a little bit better. At the time, we were really good, and got caught up there, and then me and Evan got in a battle, and Evan got by us, and then we ended up getting back by Chase with 2 to go. Then we had that last lap yellow, and I just rode there in 3rd, but I feel like we had if we'd have won the heat race and I wouldn't have had that little mistake early, I feel like we would have had a really good chance at winning the thing. Honestly, I felt really, really good, and it's nice to be back up front and racing with those guys and being able to wheel again.
Yeah, I mean, you finally got a podium interview. You finished 4th, I think, twice last year in the races. Yeah. Twice, 3 times, whatever. But you finally got that podium interview. And I'll be honest, I was hoping for a little more flair. I mean, look at you now. You got the hat on, and the sunglasses, and you were kind of a little boring, dude. What was that about? That's not the D Keefe that we all know.
Dude, I didn't even know. Because I wanted more. And I thought I was going to get another question, I thought it was going to be like one more, like boom, boom, bang. But interview-wise, no, I was just blah. I wasn't ready. I was nervous. I thought they would like done the winner because I went up in the interview waiting room,
Right.
and we were all three in there, and yeah, I just like Speed Shot 51 said, we're saving it for the win. Yeah, we're winning Williams Grove. No, I don't know about that, but
That's when the flare's gonna come out.
oh, the Flair sister, you ain't seen Flair.
The Ric Flair, baby.
I'll have this
Like,
mustache
we're
so
not
trimmed
talking
up.
Rick.
So Colin, you really stepped up around Port Royal, with the week of Port Royal, which was what, week 3, 4,
Three.
week. Let's see, it was
The week after
Volusia,
Cedar.
Volusia, February, Cedar. So yeah, week 4,
Oh,
you
yeah,
really stepped
yeah.
up and
Yeah.
was like, we got to figure this shit out because
Win.
we had just kind of struggled, honestly. I mean, Kiefer was still able to make features just because he's a fucking wheelman, but we were
That's
struggling,
why.
and you kind of stepped up and was like, let's figure this shit out. I mean, what I hadn't seen you on iRacing really. I hadn't hung out with you. I mean, I know you got a different job, weird hours, but what kind of changed for you? Like, kind of gave you the motivation to help us?
I think part of it was I think I said this in the last build that I kind of wanted to learn late models because the big blocks got stale. Obviously, I've done pretty well in those, and I got kind of stale, and I always wanted to learn late models. It's something new. I mean, all cars are kind of the same concept. I mean, sprint cars are a little different, but late models and big blocks, they have the same concepts and how you have to make them work. So I kind of wanted to do that, and honestly, it was just watching you guys be bad.
Hot PT.
Yeah, it was not fun to watch. I was always excited to watch you guys. Especially you, Nathan. Like, I know how much you wanted this from like when we first started talking. Like 2200 I rating, Nathan wanted to be a pro, and Damien was better than his performances. So I said, all right, well, if I can figure this shit out, I remember the message I said, I'll figure it out. You guys just got to trust me. And you both were like, all right, let's get it. And I don't think that, like, that's Damien on my screen. He's not dumb. And you, Nathan, are just a driver. So, like, you're kind of out of this, but like, in like a setup aspect, it's really good to have someone to bounce ideas off of, right? And someone that can, like, if he says that he wants to do something, I can say, all right, well, this is the pro of this and this is the con of this. And vice versa. So, if anything, I think I just I brought a lot of structure into this and how we go about things, like the testing, how we go about the testing. Obviously the big word besides patience that I've gotten to your guys' head is like balance, and Kiefer knows exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So, and I think ever since we kind of started piecing that together, I think he's Kiefer's starting to get he's starting to put his head back on his shoulders and what he's doing, and
we've gotten a little bit more knowledgeable.
Yeah, and I mean, it just helps when you have somebody that knows and trying to push you guys back into that rhythm of, all right, well, we can be here. We made the show for a reason. Now let's show why we're in the show. And I knew you guys could do it. And like I said, it was half of it because I wanted to do it because obviously I've talked to you guys about it. I want to make a shot at pro next year. I'll take a run at it just to say I did it. But to help you guys was the most important thing. So the fact that the success of like my knowledge that kind of like mended together, it came together so quick, like it was really cool in that aspect, just because the progress that you guys have had now has been expedited that much quicker. But but yeah, I mean, mainly it was just to to watch you guys do better, and I knew you could. And sometimes and obviously Damien doesn't have the time, and I was up till 2-3 in the morning.
That was my busy
when I was coming I was coming home. I was testing at Port, which is the hardest track to learn how to build a setup. And I'm coming home, staying up till 2-3 in the morning. I'm like, I'll figure this out. Like, we'll be all right. And I told you guys that. I said we'll be good. And obviously we were pretty good.
Stuck, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we've been in Discord a lot together recently because of this, and it was just very interesting to me and really cool, and I'm super grateful to see and hear the ideas bouncing off of each other, because like I said, I think in the last episode, 2 heads are better than 1. I can be there as the second guy, if it was just me and Kiefer, but I don't build setups. So having another mind that knows how to build setups, or knows that process, even though you're not 100% familiar, Colin, with late models, learning it, and then you two bouncing ideas off of each other. I mean, the shit that I was hearing that I didn't understand, but like you could see the progress was just really cool, and I'm super grateful for it.
Yeah. No, it's been sick.
And it's been fun. Well, now it's like a challenge between me and Bokus. It's like, this thing's great. And then like today I surprised him with something new, and he's like, this thing's gonna be hot PP, and it was not bad. And like he sent me something before we were still in the server for like the feature something. He's like, try this. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this thing is gonna be hot PP. And I'm like, this ain't bad. But at the end of the day, it's fun to fight back and forth like that, and it's like a challenge amongst each other. It's we all want the best for each other, and that's where we're trying to go, is keep getting better and better, and hopefully get Nathan up there soon.
I mean, I feel like if I could just qualify better, and then not push tight in 1 and 2. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. All right. I understand what has happened. Okay. I know what has happened. All right.
You've put about 600 laps less for qualifying than he has. That's what's happened.
Yeah, that too.
Like because it's just like anything.
Oh, dude, I made a million laps at PV or I-55 this week.
It's all knowledge of lines. You got to know exactly what happens. Like you just test every different track state and figure out what's good when.
Shoot, I've had 6 servers up for Williams Grove this week, but now I've had some success, and now some of the spark and the lights back. And now I just want to keep going. I'm like, I just need to get a little better here, a little better here, a little better here. And I mean, it was just we've all gotten the drive back again, and we haven't done it in a way where it's been in the shadows almost. And like it's slowly built up, and now I feel like we're getting like I kind of said in my post the other day. I feel like I'm getting back to D Keith, like the old me back in. Shoot,
2021, 2022.
Early last build, not early, but since the early last build, I felt the mustache does that 25 horsepower. It's actually 32, but they only allow us in the Pro Series to have 25 horsepower with mustaches. So don't tell them, because I got these little strips at the end. That's like the addition.
Yeah, that's actually against the handbook. You're gonna see me in the next episode of the podcast with like just the mustache.
Yeah, you wish.
No, but I mean, it is so cool to see the fire back. I mean, honestly, for all of us. I mean, hell, I was super bummed after the first 3-4 weeks of Pro Series, dude. I really didn't want to do this anymore. I was like, dude, you were talking about retirement. I mean, we're talking about like.
I've been talking about retirement for like.
We're so tired of it,
6 months I've been wanting to retire.
But we got a little bit of a spark back, and we're grinding. I think we have Colin to thank for a lot of that. Because he kind of
calming me down.
Yeah.
Knocking some sense into me.
Yeah.
Telling you to not be a squirrel.
Yeah. Well, Colin is really good at giving you some really fucking harsh advice.
He's just telling you how it is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's honestly it. I think we got our second special guest ready if we're ready to bring him on. Are we ready? Special guest.
Dude, we're about to be 4-way wide in Discord.
Yep, 4 wide. Kendal, you got a copy?
Is this thing on? Hello?
I think it's working. I don't think the face cam's on, but you're in here.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
He's here.
Well, special guest for tonight, Kendal Tucker, driver of the 00, Majula C Speed Shop machine. Picked up correct me if I'm wrong, your second Pro Series win last Monday night. That's awesome.
Yeah, got lucky.
I don't know about all that. You did a hell of a job, dude. I mean, the celebration, doing the freaking drifting, as they called it, the drifting backwards around the track. Your second win. I mean, how did it feel? I want to know, because I don't know if I'll ever get there, but
I don't want to sound like a like a kid saying this, but I get goosebumps right now just still thinking about it. Like you just spend so much time on here, like through the years, I guess at this point, and to try, as many times as I've tried, and to only that be my second win. I don't know how many starts I've ran in the late models and sprint cars, but I'd say it's a pretty high number on up there. So to only win 2, I guess, is kind of embarrassing to say a little bit when you have that many starts. But I hate that I don't have a webcam for my PC. I'm actually just on my old lady's iPad right now. That's why it took 15 minutes just to get this thing set up once we got home. But
that's great.
After we come off turn 4 and took the checkered, I'm kind of glad I didn't have my Zoom on, because I'm pretty sure I just blew out everybody in the townhouse here that I live in because I was screaming. And I'm really glad, because I don't want to see the facial expression that I put off right there. And if you look on the broadcast, I drove that thing straight off into the fence in turn 1 because I just let go of the wheel, and we're just like, just going crazy, man. So I don't know.
We could get that footage.
It's a heck of a feeling for sure.
I mean, I remember winning just the top split pro qualifier race earlier this year, and that was one hell of a feeling. I can't imagine an actual Pro Series race. How would you say it compared to the first one? Because you won back in 2020 at Knoxville, correct?
Yeah, that one was, a lot, like, I guess more pressure. Like I felt a little less pressure this time. Like I was out there, once I passed Chase for the lead, I was out there like, all right, 17, 18 laps to go. I was looking at the ticker. Let's just run your line, and hopefully the tire will last and get us to the end. And then we're, believe it or not, I guess really not believe it or not, but the longest 17 or 18 laps ever. Like I looked down and felt like I'd ran 15 laps, and I'm pretty sure it said lap 36, so I'd only ran 4 laps. I'm like, oh my God, there's still 14 more of these around here. So,
but and then you got Evan breathing down your neck the last few laps there.
Yeah, once I seen him get clear of, I think Chase is who it was, I knew I was in for a world of hurt. I could just feel the heartbreak, like, as he was coming, because I was looking at the interval and he was closing in like over a tenth a lap. It was insane. It's stupid the speed that guy has on here.
Yeah, like, especially, and I saw it coming because whenever me and him caught you and Honeycutt there before the yellow came out, and me and him were rolling. And once you got clean air, you were better than Honeycutt at the time. He was kind of you guys were in a battle there. And then once you took the lead on that restart, there was about 5 people that I saw at the replay that had saved enough juice to have it to go to the end. And I think Evan saved a little bit longer than us, because I know behind me he still ran the bottom for a little bit longer than me and saved a little bit better. And I think that's possibly why he was so good. But it's also Evan, the kid's pretty unreal some nights.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. Being able to work with him, this season's been really cool, and to compete against him all these years, and to not, I guess, be a teammate with him, for lack of a better term, to be in the lab, I guess, working with him, it's just crazy. Like, the kid's a freak. So if you want to win, you got to run through the 33 and the 127, basically every week. So
right.
Them guys are always on top of their game, and I really got to give a shout out to them for helping me out. I'm not able to be on as much as I used to, I guess, like back in 2018, 2019, 2020, like when I was in college. Just had a lot more free time, I guess, during the evenings, and I could get on and run more races. But with work and I guess growing up, I guess you could say it's a lot harder to get on here.
Adulting sucks.
So you say that you don't get a lot of time. So what does your practice schedule, your kind of your race day, Monday look like for the practice and leading up to one of these races? You fucking just won one, so like you still got to be putting in some laps, right?
I wish I could say that I ran more laps, because it probably would help me, but I probably get on, with Woes Hell being on Sunday nights, I decided with the new tire model and stuff, I probably needed to, fork out an extra day of the week, to be around to run against all those guys with the tire model and stuff, because it's just totally different. Like, you can't rely on the same skills and everything like that you've used or whatever for the last 3 or 4 years. Like, it's a whole new,
everything's changed.
it's a whole new game.
And
yeah. So
Yeah, it is. It's a lot different than what it used to be, and you've been around every build, pretty much, besides the very, very first one, possibly.
No, I think he was. You
Were
were
you there
you were
for
making
that?
laps on. I went back and listened to your XR interview, and you were saying that you made laps like kind of offline, right? On iRacing, and then you were finally able to make online laps.
I believe it was 2017 because I was a senior in high school at the time, and the dirt stuff had came out, and I talked my dad into going to the local Walmart and buying me the lowest rigged out, cheapest gaming PC. I guess you could say. I think it was like $450, $500, and then right across the street was the GameStop, and went and got a $30 steering wheel and pedals that had no force feedback. And the brake pedal broke like the first 2 weeks I had it. So I had a gas pedal, and then I had a brake pedal right here on my steering wheel for the first like two and a half years of my sim career.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The brake pedal, because you use that a lot nowadays. Well, there are some people that do need to know what a brake pedal is.
I'd like to apologize to all the people in my early career because I used to, well, still people think I am a weapon, but I used to be a really bad weapon, but I did have a pretty good excuse. I really didn't have a brake pedal.
That is.
So if I ever ran through you from the years of like 2018 to 2020, I'd very sorry.
Wait, so hold on. No brake pedal even during the Pro Series, like during 2018? I mean, you were in there in 2019, right?
2019, yeah, so I'm sorry, it was 2017, 2018. 2019 was the first year that I actually bought a rigged up like PC, and my first steering wheel with force feedback was a Logitech G29, which I'm still using, and G29 pedals.
No force feedback.
I used that for like 2 years.
Lord.
So
that's wild.
We talk about all these different builds. We've had the OG build, we had the new tire model build in like 2021, and then we got this build now. Honest opinion, and we can all give answers here. What do you think is the best build that we've had?
If I was saying all around package, I'd probably have a hard time saying anything other than like the 2019 to like 2020, 2021 era until the big blocks came around.
Right.
And then the big blocks, I think iRacing kind of introduced like a sort of a new tire model for that car. And then it was a really good, like big blocks, like I thought raced really well at the time when they first came out. And then once I think they started trying to copy the big block tire on the rest of the cars. And ever since then, I feel like it's been like I hate to say it, sound like a negative Nancy, but like a downward spiral of like just chasing your tail. Like since then, like it's just been like bug after bug, it seems like. So, but the build now is like not even the same. Like you got tacky parts of the racetrack that look brown that are slick. You go out there and you buzz the tires off because you think it's tacky, and then you go out there and about spin out. So I'd have a hard time arguing anything other than like 2019 probably, but I guess that's probably where I had first started, I guess. So I guess it's the first of anything, I guess, is always the best.
Well, there's the nostalgia, but I mean, still, you go back and watch the 2019, 2020 Pro Series, and those damn races, just every single one of them, it seemed like was a banger. I mean, every single one of them, that 2020 Lima Land race, I mean, Fairbury, all those were just insane. Colin, you've been around about the same amount of time that I have, like, mid 2020 is whenever we joined. So you've had some experience on that first build. And then, from there on, what would you say is your favorite build, the best build?
I mean, I didn't have much time, like, I guess like experience time on the old one. Obviously Tyler Ducharme was trying to help me a little bit when I first started in the late model, and they were great. Like once I started to get a hold of them, but like I had just started to figure out pros when the model changed, and so like obviously, so like now, like with the most time, I would say this one, but it's because the last one was just so bad because they didn't even get the big block tire model right in the first place, and then trying to incorporate that into another car where they don't really race the same, and they do, but they don't. So like. It was very like how you had to drive it was like you had to drive it like you were on an ice rink all the time, and it just wasn't like accurate. Like you shouldn't be going half throttle in qualifying in anything. Like if you're in mud, like or tacky, you should be.
Oh, don't worry now. You gotta stand on it now. I love it.
So,
That's like the best. I will say, like for as like I know this build isn't the greatest racing as of right now, but the driving wise of the race cars right now, I know they're a pain in the ass some nights, and you get the death push all the time. But I feel like they drive really. Like I enjoy driving it now, but it's so full tilt. It's so fun to me.
So your answer,
They're a lot
Colin.
more fun early in the night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would definitely
like,
say. I think we all agree on that.
That was
in
like
the
that, like
in the mud.
Yeah, in the mud, it's like wide open, and it's kind of like you would be in IRL, like in a heat race. From my experience, you should be nearly wide open in the heat race. Not depends what the track is, of course, but if there's a little mud on the racetrack, you should be wide open and fully pedaling it. And you got to wheel them now. I'd say the most out of any other build.
That's why I brought my right hand into the equation. So Colin, your answer though, what was your favorite build?
It would be this one because I have, I guess, the most time on it, like experience time.
Yeah.
Even though the other one did feel really good, I didn't have enough time like racing on it to actually like be good at it.
And your answer,
So, like,
Kiefer?
I like the old early build. I like it now. I probably liked the last build. I wasn't around for I was there for like the 2019, 2020 build, but that was just.
How many builds has there really been at this point, though? I don't even. There's been too many to keep up with.
Ultimately, like 3 with
like,
tweaks to a bunch of them. You know what I mean?
They update them, and then like last build when that came out right before the spring fling, whenever that was.
The Knoxville Spring Fling.
The Knoxville Spring Fling.
That was like April of 2021.
Yep. Okay, so that from April 2020, 21 or whenever that was till I believe like November, that was like the peak for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came out with an update or something that changed the track for just a little bit, and then they changed it back, but it was never the same.
Well, they were changing like how the slick felt. Like they gave more grip to the slick.
That's what it was.
Like, weird. Like
Yeah.
Why would you do that? The whole point of it is to like make the bottom work, maybe. The bottom was almost irrelevant.
I know. Except at Lanier, you could just run the bottom.
Yeah, the whole time. I think from my own personal opinion, the 2020 build and on back was really, really good. I didn't have as much experience, but I thought it was really, really good. I had, I think, the most success on this last build. And I think that with the right tweaks, I think this could be the best build. But right now, I mean, I think as far as
the racetracks, it could be a lot better.
Yeah, I think as far as entertainment, that first build, the 2019-2020 Pro Series, was just insanely hard to beat. Personally,
I mean, you guys would be because I remember watching.
I was still a baby. I was probably still in diapers.
Well, you still are, but
Yeah.
You could just like get down with those cars, man. Like you could just drive the absolute crap out of them. Like, and it didn't matter. Like you just went after it for the pro race was 50 laps. Like you were just on the mat for 50 laps. Like it was just, and you could race all over the track. Like now, like in the last few years, I feel like you have certain like sections of the racetrack that you can like race. But back then, man, like, I mean, as far as I remember it, almost wide open. Like all lanes of the racetrack were almost available unless it was completely like wore out slick, you know, but
right.
A lot of good races like at Lima Land back in the day, like just rolling the tires and you got people beating the boards down and stuff like that. So, but I haven't ran a Lima Land race on this build, but I highly doubt
I
it's
haven't
like it
either.
was back in the day.
I think I've ran one.
Lima Land's not a place that I think of, and like I don't think of enjoyment when I race at
either. But like I said earlier, that 2020 Lima Land Pro Series race was a fucking banger, dude. Like that was phenomenal. I got another question for you, Kendal. So you said that you don't practice a lot, but you just won. What with your lack of practice, and you know that you don't practice as much as you used to, did that kind of change your expectations, or does that change your expectations? Do you have a certain level of expectations going in knowing that you have less practice, And now that you've won and you're sitting second in the points, like, what are your expectations going forward?
I mean, I'd say for probably the last, like, realistically 2.5, 3 years, like, I've kind of been like on this like in and out schedule. Like, I didn't kind of answer your question earlier, like back to the what is my like routine. I really, by the time I get off work and go to the race shop and get home, it's usually 6:30, 7 o'clock, and get on and join the Discord and see what server they're at, and just get on and rip laps and until it's time for the server to go up, I guess. But I don't know. I guess I'm really just gonna try to go out and like I did with the mindset this past Monday, and just qualifying so important. Like, if you don't qualify good, like, you might as well just go ahead and load it up, or you're gonna really have a really tough night. So qualifying is so important, and just got to try to have fun with it, man. Like Monday, like I was just in there, like just loosey goosey, like didn't really care. Like, and I guess by the way I was driving, like I was just really didn't care. Like if I'd wrecked or was going to make the pass or whatever I was doing at the time, like I was just driving as hard as I have in a while on the sim. So I guess we'll just try to go with that approach. And I guess I really try to need to schedule some more time to get on. Grove is going to be very unpredictable. I guess it's going to be hard to say how that's going to race and go and drive with the new build and stuff. But you just got to have fun with it. I feel like you can honestly burn yourself out and run too many laps. Like back in my prime, I guess I was on 6-7 days a week, like, and I would get to a point where I would start running worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then I started I can't remember when it was exactly, but I was going through a really bad slump, and I kind of just got pissed and said, screw it, like I'm going to stop racing as much. And then I started winning and like running more competitive and stuff. So it's kind of weird how that stuff works out. Like, I feel like you can wear yourself out or over.
Well, you start changing things and start fine tuning, but really you're just fine tuning yourself out, and you're convincing yourself that something is better, or you need to do this, or you need to drive it. It's
unless it comes down to like setup wise, which I'm not much of a setup guru. Like, there's only so much speed and so much you can do. Like, and you're only capable. Each person's capable of different things. Like, I'm only capable of only doing so much, and everybody else is. So like, there's no point in really trying to kill yourself over it. Like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. I guess you just kind of got to go with that wing it mindset. If you like are having trouble sleeping at night, and like you are about to throw up when you're sitting here in your gaming chair, like, you probably don't have the right approach to this stuff. Like, this is just a game at the end of the day. Like, you got to just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's how I am too. And that was like, especially like whenever we had like when Apex was bigger or whatever, whenever it was. And
when we were selling setups.
Yeah, it got too much. It was chaos, and it wasn't fun. It was always who can beat who. Every official mattered, every hosted mattered. Like, and then you just couldn't race like how I wanted to race. So like,
couldn't just have fun.
We stepped away, and now we're just racing. And that's what like we had to do instead of like grinding it all the time every day, and that's all we like thought about. And it kind of not losing sleep over it, but dealing with everybody you got to deal with, and it's nice to just have some fun now. That's what it's about, and it's been nice.
I think that's what's helped us a lot. Me and Kiefer recently is Colin joining, and we can make laps against each other and have fun. And
Nathan could wreck me all the time because he can't
all
beat
the time. I mean, that's how I find my stress relief, honestly, because I'm pissed at you for being so much faster than me. So whenever I get the chance, I go for that straight line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and we have to give credit where credit's due, and Kendal can probably attest to this because he would know more than any of us. Well, Damien might know too, but like, you got to think like Evan and Blake are gonna be the hardest to beat because I would assume that they probably put the most time in, and
they've had the most time in overall. Yeah.
But they are consistently from build to build. They've got it figured out pretty quick, and then it's just once you get that base, it's just you're tuning after that, and they have a way of getting themselves to the front no matter what. And like seeing Blake be off pace like on Monday was like weird, right? Because like we're not used to seeing him out of like top 5. grant like top 3. I mean, Evan, I don't think I've seen him finish out of the top 3. I think he's only finished of worse the second this year. So like, they obviously got something figured out, and obviously they know what they're doing setup wise. But I think like their approach to how they take these races too, like how Evan saves, because I was watching him behind you, and like he's just so smooth. Like he doesn't upset the car at all. Like very good. Yeah, like
very few mistakes.
It's like watching a replay. That's all it is. It's just replay. You feel like you're on a time lapse. It's crazy.
He's so consistent. Yeah.
That's why it blew
somebody
my mind.
commented on the YouTube broadcast. Sorry to interrupt you, Nathan,
No,
but I gotta say this since we're talking about Evan. But somebody said congrats, Kendal or whatever. But and then they said, quick question: is Evan Say an AI robot? I mean, like the dude's like he's just a freak, man. Like it's just crazy.
He's like the Snapchat one.
Yeah, that one's a little creepy, but it did blow my mind whenever Evan, like the only mistake I think I've ever seen Evan make was whenever he pushed like lap 1 at Cedar and basically gave the win to Blake because it was a 1-lane track. Like he was starting pole and then he pushed. That's the only mistake I've ever seen him make. But I mean that's the laps, that's the experience, and I think that's something that's helped you, Kendal, to over the course of the last, I guess 5 years, if you want to count your non-pro year or whatever, but you've just got so much experience and obviously a lot of talent that you can just kind of make as many laps as you want and you're going to be there. You know what I mean? Like it's truly impressive, like honestly, because I see how much, certain people are on, and I know that you're not on here that much. So to win and be second in points, it's not like you just had a lucky race. You've been up there, you know what I mean? You're second in points, so it's really impressive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, iRacing's definitely been really cool and definitely lucky, to get to do it. And I try not to take myself, like I said, too serious on here, and just try to have a good time with it. Like just surround myself with good people and just try to have fun. Like if you're not having fun with it, like I said, like you just need to find something else. So
Rocket League.
But yeah, Rocket League. Never played it, but I probably should look into it.
What do you
the next 4 weeks? If the next 4 weeks go south, I'll look into it.
What do you do outside of iRacing? I mean, I know you got a real car. I mean, what all is there, that you do outside of iRacing?
So my family, we own 5 restaurants back in my home area. We got 2 in North Carolina and then 3 in Virginia. So I'd stay pretty wrapped up in that during the weeks. Like this morning I was off to work at 4:15 and I think I got off of work about 5:30 and went to the shop because we're going to go testing tomorrow night. And I got home, like you said, I honestly thought the podcast was at 9:15. And I got home and checked my phone, and you said you about ready, and I'm like, yeah, I'm walking up the steps.
Oh yeah, this
but,
fucking thing.
I mean, get pretty wrapped up with work, and try to devote as much time as I can to my race, and it's just usually me and my dad. I mean, I keep my shop up at my cousin Benji Hicks. I don't know if y'all have seen on my car, but the double nickel race cars. Yeah. He started his own chassis 2 years ago, and me and him has been best friends. He's 4 years older than me. I mean, we've been best friends since we were little kids. I mean, so to get to keep my race car at his shop, is really cool, and getting to, soak up as much knowledge and information and stuff as I can from him on the real side of things. And then by the time work and then the race car duties get situated, if there's not a pro race, you can probably find me on my couch with my feet kicked up, chilling with the old lady, getting ready to go after it all again tomorrow, and then just wait around and then wait for the, I guess, Sunday and Monday nights now to pop on and get on here and see if my computer still turns on.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty busy schedule, honestly. So you race 602 or 604?
We have both motors. This year I've been running the 604s all year, but my home track, which is about 25 minutes up the road, they shut down last year halfway through the season, and that was my first full season of racing. So that sucked, but luckily some new people have bought it, and they're going to open it up in their first races next week, and they're going to run 602. So we've swap motors out today in my real car. Took the 604 out and put the 602 back in it. Had my friend Alan Hicks come by this morning and check my motor before he got his day started, and haven't ran that 602 motor since the Blue Gray 100 at Cherokee last year.
Yep.
We ran, I think there was 28 or 29 602s there, and finished 6th, so haven't ran the motor since then. So, but he pulled all the valve springs and said everything looked good. So if everything goes good, we're going to go run a few laps over at the track tomorrow, and hopefully the motor still runs and nothing falls off.
Yeah, that's always the best thing. That's like my big thing when I go out. Just like, I just want the motor to run. anything else like I'm fine with, but like I just want the motor to run.
If the motor don't run, you don't have a shot.
Yeah,
it's a big component for sure. So what track is that you're running at?
It's been called Friendship Motor Speedway, ever since it's been around, like back in the 90s, but it's going to be changed to Ultimate Motorsports and RV Park, I think it's called. They're already in the works of doing a couple of things. They're knocking the infield wall down to try to widen the track out a little bit. So I think that's going to help it for sure. So they're saying they're going to do a couple more things, and I've heard rumors that they're going to try to have that I think it's Larson and Brad Sweet's sprint car series at it next year. Yeah. So they're in the works this offseason of putting a full catch fence around the track supposedly, but you know how rumors start. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, if they do take out the inside wall, watch out for them infield tires. From personal experience.
The infield tractor tire.
Yep.
The infield tractor tire.
I swear they
jump
sometimes.
They're not forgiving on iRacing. I know that.
What you want to do is hit one of them infield tires that got concrete on the inside of them. Those are the best ones to hit.
I can confirm the ones at Charlotte. I raced there for the first time last year. I nicked one in my heat race.
Do those move or no?
Oh, they move, thank God, because I just drove straight for it. Like I'd set the car, got it pitched in there, and got it set in there probably a half car length too soon, and like just clipped it with the left front valence, and it just moved it out of the way like a hockey puck. But I got pretty lucky. Probably would have had to replace the whole front clip if it hadn't have. I guess there was nothing.
The iRacing ones don't move.
Yeah, that would have. No. Yeah, would have not been okay. Would have not been racing the rest of the weekend.
Let me push the tires in.
With the new damage model, I don't think it's going to do you any good anyway. Let's rip the right front off.
So.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Ripping the right front off now.
Oh dude, it's either of them. That's what I did in the feature, bro. I was in the back. I alt F4 to keep from ruining anybody's race, and they heavily penalized me for that. But anyways, so we got Williams Grove next week. Thoughts and expectations, Kiefer. What do you think?
What do I think?
Mm-hmm.
I think there is potential. It could be a decent race, even though I know a lot of people hate Williams Grove. But
I love it.
From the laps that I've made, I made quite not a ton, but I've made a decent amount of laps there so far. I actually ran an official earlier today. I feel pretty good. Do I think the racing is going to be something that's like spectacular? No, but I think the racing is going to be possible and decent, especially in the middle of the pack. But up front, I think it's going to be pretty trainy. But I'm feeling pretty decent. I made some good laps there, and I'm feeling good.
What do you think, Colin, and what do you expect out of the three of us, if you want to include Kendal on it?
I mean, Kendal's gonna be fine. I don't really worry about him.
Kendal's a wheel.
He's been doing this long enough. Like like I said, before I even had iRacing, I was watching the Pro Series, and
he'll be in the top 5
up front. So like, yeah, unless you get destroyed or something. But
expectation
wise, it's like, I don't know, man. Like today, like even they're in the official, and I don't like to. Obviously, I don't like to mix the official and pro together because it's two different track states, whatever. It's really just going to come down to how they work the track, how they decide to pre-gen, or if they're resetting what percentage or whatever. I think you can make it 2 lanes, and I hope that's what it is, just so guys can move around a little bit. And it's not like cut down or cut down.
I want to rip the fence. That's all I want to do.
So like, as long as they work it in right, and I think Wotel is always like a good judge of what you're going to get race wise. They normally do a pretty good job getting it to where it needs to be. So I mean, I always watch on Sunday, so I'll see. We'll have to see how it works there, but hopefully it's racy. I think it can be 2 lanes if they do it right.
Kendal, what do you said, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but what are your real expectations and hopes for next week?
It'd be nice to get another win, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I would.
That would really be nice.
Let's do it again.
But, yeah, let's run it back. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Like I said, not real sure. I guess when we'll decide to start turning some laps for this week. But I don't know. It'll probably just be the same old Williams Grove. Like, I don't think it's going to race like spectacularly different. I mean,
no.
like Kiefer said, it's probably going to, whoever's out front, probably just be racing to see who burns their stuff up the quickest.
I think the top 5 is going to be kind of similar like what last week was, and just ride, and then you'll see things.
The middle of the pack will probably be where it's at. But I mean, I've seen Williams Grove races through the years like get strung out, and if there's not a caution, turn 1, there's not a caution for 50 laps, and it can just get strung out and be a very long race. So
don't want to start.
Anything. Hopefully, it'll just be a 0%. Like track state, I'm an advocator for 0% being the best and only option if you want to have the best racing on the service, no matter what build it is. 2019, 2023, all years in between, 0% and run it in. That's the best option. I mean, I can understand why they're doing it for the LCQs and stuff, I guess, but like I would just rather have a 0% track and go from there. It's hard to get a 50 or 60% pre-gen and have never ran laps on it and hope that your setup's going to work. And I don't know. There's just
that it's
too
not
many
rubber.
factors. Too many factors.
Hope it's not rubber. Yeah.
So Mike Augustine has a question, and I don't understand it, but you might have an understanding of it, Kendal. He says, question for Kendal: how much fun was the 06 Motorsport days? Do you understand that?
Oh man, yeah, those were the OG days. Those were like 2018, 2019. I want to say that was my first like real team that I was on. It was me, Mason Crawford, Blake Majulis, Jordan Casey, and Blake Cannon. And I think it was Daniel Shepard. I know he's probably, y'all have never heard of him, but I think that was the original 6. And those were some fun days, man. Like, I mean, between me, Blake, and Blake Cannon, like there was a lot of torn up stuff and a lot of league races and money races that end in hate mail coming in, I guess, through Messenger between us 3, you know, from different drivers that we'd, I guess, pissed off. And I guess in my day of having my brake pedal on the button, I probably rubbed a few people the wrong way. But I mean, I didn't have no brakes, man. I'm sorry.
Eden says absolute weapons, so I think he is in an agreement on that.
Who said it?
James Edens.
James Edens. Oh man, I love that guy. If you need to know how I feel about James Edens, just go read my iRacing bio. It says all you need to know.
I'll look it up as soon as this is over. I'll never change it till the day I die. It'll be what it is right now. I love it. Well, Colin, Kiefer, y'all got anything else for Kendal?
I have one thing, just because I'm curious, and you don't have to explain if it's anything like if there's any bad or anything. Because Edens was saying I had to get him on the team so they would stop wrecking me. What was like the change for like, because you were on Slick Swindell forever, and then went to Majula C.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like bad blood at all. Like with that deal, like I got nothing but love for all those boys over at Slick or Alpha Industries, I guess is what they're being called now. Like I still talk to them guys, like not regularly, but I talk to them at least, you know, once a week now, you know, still. So try to keep in touch with them guys. But I want to say it was probably early 2020 or late 2019. All that time period, like I was on so much, just grinding, like it all just kind of runs together. I'm not real sure when me and Blake and James and had teamed up together, but it was one of those years, and we had a lot of good times together. You know, I was on there for, I want to say it was 3.5 or 4 years, had to have been at least maybe 4 years. So between running the sprint cars, I come over there as a late model guy, and then James the plan was to hopefully for me and Blake to help him a little bit with the late model stuff, and then I'd been wanting to run the sprint cars and the open wheel and all that kind of stuff, and dabbling at that a little bit, but I didn't have the knowledge or access to really anybody that ran sprint cars, and he was the first person that was willing to help me. So, I got nothing but love for them guys, over there. They helped me a lot, and I won a lot of races and was arguably, I guess you could say, in my prime on here when I was with those boys. So, got to become a sprint car pro, and I wouldn't have done that if it hadn't been for James and Adam and Rusty and Dustin and JD and Rumsey and all those guys over there. And it sucks. Like it's been tough. Like you spend that much time with people, like they're like basically family, I guess you could say. So it's been tough. I still catch myself like, man, those guys like aren't my teammates anymore, but they're still my friends,
Yeah.
So
right.
I catch myself like there are a couple weeks, I guess, almost hopped in their Discord. Like it kind of took me a while to, I guess, muscle memory hopping in the same Discord, for 4 years. So, but ultimately, I think if I was going to continue to like, I guess, pursue this, and I don't have much time in my days at this point. So if I'm going to continue to do it, I feel like I needed to have a little change of pace, I guess, and just try to surround myself with a little bit different group of people, I guess. Like me and Blake, like we go back to 2018, 2019. He's probably one of the first people other than Mason Crawford, I think, that I had started racing with on the late model stuff. So me and him have had a really close and, pretty good friendship, over the last 5 years. And me and him and Chris Ferguson, I've known Chris. My dad, he used to race against Chris when I was a kid on the Carolina Clash Tour. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's a super series down here in the South. But, Chris, I see him all the time, like around the racetracks around the South. And he's all the time like, man, we got to get you over here, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do I got to do? Blah, blah, blah. And so I guess with the new build coming out and the tire model and me kind of just feeling like I just kind of needed a little change of scenery, I guess, for a lack of a better term. That's really the only way I can try to describe it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Not totally, but I can see where you're coming from, and it's I'm sure it seems to me like it was kind of one of the things you wanted, a team that could just supply you with setups and you can just get on whenever you're ready and go race kind of thing, instead of feeling obligated to help test and stuff like that.
I guess you could kind of say that. Like I still try to help like Blake and Evan, like try to, I'm not on throughout the week as much, but like I'd give them as much feedback as I can, like whenever I am on and stuff. But, all those guys like James and JD and Rumsey, like especially James, like I can't even count how many setups that poor guy has probably sent me over the years. Like, and like, he's a lot better guy than me, and he didn't not charge me a dime for any of them, and all the help and stuff. But my ultimate goal, is to try to become a world champion. And I guess I don't know. I needed to try to switch it up, I guess, if I'm going to give myself the best shot to try to get that.
I understand.
No, I understand. I get it. It's like everyone on extra ones right now trying to go to Longhorn,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Longhorn's been dominating. Well, Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton have been dominating. Will be.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Colin or Kiefer, for Kendal?
No, he's
all
done
right.
Well,
Kendal, thank you so much for coming on. Again, congratulations on your win Monday night. Look forward to seeing you out there at Williams Grove. Hopefully, I'm up there with y'all, with you and Kiefer this week. So, but yeah, congrats.
I have a feeling us three will be racing around each other like hell. I've raced around Kiefer quite a bit, but like I don't think me and you've ever like really gotten down with it. And I just have a feeling after this, us three are just going to be thrashing it out probably for 18.
We'll be 1, 2, 3 in the heat race.
That's a backhanded insult, and you know it, Kendal. I've never raced against you because I'm always in the fucking back or not even in the show, man.
Wow.
I
remember.
You said it yourself. You're a late bloomer to iRacing. Come on.
I am a little bit, but
me and
Kendal
has some hell of a battles
at race or a money race. To be fair.
Do what?
Yeah.
I said, to be fair, I would only have the chance to probably have only ever raced against you in a pro race or a money race, I guess.
Less chances. But I get what you're saying. It probably will end up where we're fighting like hell and probably
1,
end up
2, 3
dooring
in a
each
heat
other,
race.
pissing each other off in a race after this podcast. But anyways, thank you, Kendal, for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kendal.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're back to the 3-person. What a guy. I'm glad he came on. I'm glad you came on too, Colin. We, like I said, man, me and Kiefer, I know myself, really appreciate your help over these past 2-3 weeks or however long it's been. Just regarding Pro Series, for those that don't know, I mean, Colin was like kind of my first teammate. I mean, we were in a league together. Shout out to Eddie Farnes, and because he was winning every race in that league. And shout out to Chuck, it's Chuck Vestal, yeah. Charles Vestal, Allied Pro Late Models. They came out with a big block series once the big block came out, and I saw Colin winning every single race, and I was like, hey man, I want to be on that guy's team. And we've been teammates ever since.
Yeah, that's been a while, and you've come a long way. Like I said, that was one of the biggest things when I saw you guys struggle. It was like, man, I remember like all the times when like you were like, because we were both like kind of the same rating back when we were starting. We were like 20, 22, 2500, and he was like, man, I'd love to make that Pro Series one day. I was like, yeah, we'll get there. And you just see how everything changed, and then we went through the motions with the whole Radco thing, and then
big blocks. He was a big block.
Yeah, I turned him into a big block guy for a while. Yeah, I did.
He was like big block only.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
he got good.
I got decent.
Yeah, and then we kind of, we had the Radco thing, and we did a lot of late models there, and left that, and then we're, kind of independent and floating on our own, and then, the whole Apex thing kind of started, and then now we're just kind of like, you stop it on the car. It's not like a setup shop thing anymore, and it's been so relaxing. Like I just ran official with Kiefer today at Williams Grove, and it's like, man, it's just like you go into the officials and you don't care.
You don't care. You just race.
Just going to run.
You're like just having fun.
There's no pressure. Like this was strictly, see what we got. He ran his set, I ran mine.
We both said it. Mine was better. His was better. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, when
it's fun though.
Better.
Yeah,
I mean, now it's not so much where like I'm trying to like patrol the show, because that's kind of how it was the last couple weeks, and like trying to, and a lot of it's just trying to build structure and like you were more just patient, you getting on more and putting in more laps so you're not so far behind and understand what you're doing. But like now we're kind of at the point where like, all right, now the fire's kind of back. I'm kind of like now taking the back seat and just kind of making laps with you guys, and you're just, you're saying, here, try this, and I try it, and I give you my personal feedback, because obviously we drive different, and that's been pretty apparent since, probably last build, that I don't like what you guys like. But you're starting to get around to the point where like I said, our big thing was balance, and once you get that balance, everything just kind of comes together after that, and then you're just basically looking for your drive off and how to save and how long to save for. And this week is going to be a tough one with trying to save and stay competitive if you're not up front, especially if if you're fighting in the mid pack, you're probably going to burn your shit up a little bit. So
I'll keep
qualifying's going to be big. Qualifying's going to be big. So if we can, you guys can start yourselves in the top 10.
We qualified well there last year.
We did.
I qualified 5th. I know that. Last year at Williams Grove.
You were like 11th or 12th.
I think
You started front row, I believe, of a. I think you qualified like 2nd or 3rd, dude. Because I remember you started pole of a heat race and you let James Edens get you.
Yes, that did happen.
Yep.
You're right.
And I started 2nd to Evan in heat 1, and so I started 5th in the feature, because obviously I wasn't going to outrun Evan, but I did hold on to 2nd in the heat. And I had a good run last year at Williams Grove. So like this week going into Williams Grove, I know it's a completely different build, but that was my best run last year, outside of the black flag. I mean, if there wasn't the black flag that I got last year, I would have had 6th or 8th, something like that. So, I mean, I think we've shown that we can qualify well there. So we just got to put in the laps like always, and then know the line. Speaking to myself,
know the line.
But
I have a feeling I already know what the line's gonna be.
Do you want to go ahead and tell our viewers? I'm sure some of which are our competitors.
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait.
We'll talk about it next week.
I promise you don't know the line.
When?
Yeah, you did last week. Other than that, you were like, "What's the line?"
Yeah. Well. So.
But, I mean, yeah.
What? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say when I know you had asked earlier, like expectations. I don't like, obviously I want you guys to do the best you can, and expectations now are just making features. I guess the expectation kind of gets set with like where you qualify. You know, if you guys qualify top 10, I expect you to finish on top 10 in the feature, because I know our stuff's good enough, right? And if we're putting in the time and we're comfortable with what we got, then there's no excuse why you shouldn't.
Yeah, but unless you fuck up, you should be able to at least maintain what you started with.
Like Kendal said, it's so crucial to qualify well. You have to set yourself up. Even though I don't like the fact of like starting on the pole of a race, because you're almost forced to burn your stuff up. Because you're trying to fight if you want to save, or you're trying to stay ahead so you don't lose too much position.
I want to qualify second.
Yeah, I would like third. To me, would be like the prime spot to be like starting in the feature, like, because then you can kind of ride, and not wear your shit out, and you know, you can go run the bottom, because most of the time that's what guys are doing to save their stuff and just putt around and keep yourself relevant. And then when you feel you're ready to go, you get on the loud hammer and go do what you got to do. And that's been Damien's biggest thing too, is he waits the right time for where he is in the racetrack, and then he'd get all horned up, see a hole, think he was going to get there, and then we're eating limestone. So it was really good though. I mean, I think we kind of figured out like the communication aspect of it between me and him, because you said you don't like spotter, so obviously I'm not going to push that, but you know, we kind of figured it out, and you know, I gave him the little tidbits he wanted to know and let him do his thing, and it worked out well. So you know, that's a good thing to have when you have that kind of communication. Luckily, you're able to even have a spotter, so that helps a lot too in the aspect of being able to see what everybody else is doing and where they could be better. And
because real life, I get 2 sticks, 2 orange sticks. That's all I get to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a guy.
Now you get someone telling you what the guy and, you know, catching you by 2/10 is doing and what the leader's doing and things like that. So I mean, that helps a lot. But obviously, you can cross the line where you're just too mouthy, which I might have been for a few weeks, but it was more like trying to
freaking me out, man.
Just trying to keep you in line. But now I think we got it figured out. So I think you guys have your expectations set, and I think you guys know what you're capable of, and that's what you should be shooting for. And obviously, we're gonna work hard to get there. So
yeah, no, it's oh yeah, that's true. You could just watch last week's episode. We talked about it.
Yeah. Well, this has been another great episode. Colin, thank you again for coming on as a co-host.
It's almost nap time.
It is almost nap time. I think it's almost Rocket League time, actually.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get to that.
I have one last thing to ask. It's a question for Nathan.
Okay.
How are your nerves?
Okay.
Going into the B main.
Is this a legit question, or are you fucking with me again?
When?
And he's fucking with me. He's fucking with me.
Dude, I used to play Apex.
So, well, anyways, this has been another great episode. Colin, thanks again for coming on for this one. Hopefully we can do this one again. I think for all those still watching, we're probably going to end up doing, obviously at the end of the season, the last episode of this version of the podcast. I think we're going to try to do something really special, and probably end up bringing Colin back on, and he might come back on for one of the other 3 races. So yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. But other than that, that's all I got, unless y'all got something else.
I'm lost. I'm lost for words. I'm nervous.
So your nerves are a little shot,
He needs someone to hold his hand. He's scared.
Yeah, I'm nervous. One whole man.
Classic D-Keith. All right, well, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Hey, Mom!